Okay, so I need to open a file, right? So how do I open a file? So I'm going to pass the file name as the command line argument. So in order to create a file, and then you need the file for input, then I do need to say fstream. What is fstream? File stream. Okay, and then using namespace as usual. And then I can now start a file. I can say ifstream, okay, input, and then I can just construct the file, the input file, the ifstream input file stream, by passing the first argument, or actually the second argument, to my ifstream. Okay, so if you look at the constructor of ifstream, then you can see that one of them is a constructor that takes a string argument. So now I have the file open. So then I can now start reading. Okay, I can start reading from the file, and in order to read something from the file, you just use this double right angle bracket, right angle sign, and then whenever you read, then you want to use a variable to capture the data. So let's say I'm going to say declare another variable, local variable number of tests. Okay, so then I can keep the number in there, number of tests. Okay, so then I'm reading the first input here, right? Number two. Number two will go into number of tests. Now I can now run a loop. I can now run a loop that will repeat number of test times. Okay, maybe I can just now write a function here. So I can write a function. Let's say call it void calculate article cost, something like that. Okay. So then I can call that function calculate. Did I misspell it? Yes, I misspelled calculate. Calculate article costs. So that loop will repeat num test times. Okay, but I need to read the data again from the same input file. So then probably I want to pass the input file to my function, so that my function can read from the same source. Okay, so then I need to pass input there, but of course I need to update my function to take an input. Okay, so what should be the correct parameter type here? Is it an int?
Are you inputting the second line of code or the second line of the file?
Should be a character.
What is the type of input?
Characters.
It's not characters.
Is it called an ifstream?
ifstream, yes. Right? Input is an ifstream, right? Okay? Input is an ifstream. Okay? So then the type of argument for calculate article cost is ifstream. Okay? I'm using reference here because I want to pass by alias. Remember that from week 1 or 2? Okay? Question? So then inside my calculate article cost, I will be reading the first group and second group in that function. But the first number will tell me how many characters I need to read, how many pair of values I need to read, right? So then let's say I'm going to use a local variable. Let's call it number of characters or number of pairs maybe, okay? And then I'm going to use another 1 for number of lines, okay? Okay. So question so far? So I'm going to read the next number, which is number 7, I want to read it and then save it into number of pairs. I will post the code on Blackboard so you don't have to copy. Okay. So then what do I do? Yes.
So when you are reading the file,
Yep.
after you read that line of the 7,
Yep.
is the next line you read is the line after that? That's what it already does for you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the input arrow right only reads one line.
Only read one token. This input,
Yep.
this operation reads only one token, which is at the beginning, the first token is number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
It will read that token number 2, and then it will parse that as an integer. Okay? So in Java, this is like next int. If you're using a scanner, this is similar to next int. Okay? This is another next int. Okay? So, any other question? So what do I need to use here in order to read the pairs here? For loop. How many times? Num pairs. K++. And what do I do inside?
Before we enter the for loop,
Yep.
should we set up our array to hold the
Correct.
price value
Yes.
or character values?
Yep. I think we're going to allocate how many cells? Is that 128?
Not quite just hold.
Right? Because we're going to use the ASCII code of the each character to index our array, right? So 128 is, I think that's good enough. Okay? So, and what should we do inside the loop?
Read in each line.
Yep.
Read in the line.
Okay? And how do I read that? What type of variable do I need to use? Because now inside the loop, I'm reading a character and an integer, right?
Right.
So I need to declare 2 variables, correct? The first one is a character, and the second one is an integer, right? Are you still with me? Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, but be careful because in your input file, okay, the text looks like 2 new line 7, new line 83. In your input file, technically, you're gonna see this, and then A number 3, and then new line character, right? And then the next line is W blank 10 new line character. Okay, this is what you're gonna see in your input. Now, so far, after I read num pairs, my pointer is here. My file pointer is here. Are you with me? Now the next line, input will read 1 character. So what happened?
Reads the new line character.
You're gonna read the new line. You're not going to read the A. Okay? So then there's a simple way of skipping the new line character by using a special name WS. WS stands for white space. Skip white space. Okay? So without that white space, you're going to be reading the new line. But with white space, you're going to skip the new line, then letter A will go into CH, and then number 3 will go into cost. Question, yes?
Don't you need that for num pairs then too?
Okay, when you're reading an integer, white space will be automatically skipped. Okay, but not when you're reading a character. When you're reading a character, because that may be like an important character that you don't want to skip. Okay, but if you intentionally skip the white space, then put WS. Okay. So what should I do with my CH and cost now?
Cost of char dot at cast to integer ch
Yep.
equals cost.
Okay. Or if you just, this is correct, but if you want to see the, sorry, the normal, the normal syntax using brackets, that will look more familiar, right? Okay. So, question about the first loop? So now we do need a second loop, right? Because after you finish reading the table of character cost, then you need to read the table for the article itself. Okay, and then what do I need now? Where are we? That loop will take me here, correct? Okay, and then I do want to read the number of lines in my article. Okay, so then my next input, my mistake, INP, should go to num lines, and then another for loop, right? Yep. Okay, so now what do I do? I want to read the entire line using a single statement. Read the entire line, read the entire line, read the entire line. Which one?
Use a string.
I want to read as a string, you're right. Okay. But what function do I use?
Still INT, right?
INP? We're going to be using INP. But how do I read the entire line? Can I do this?
No, we'll just go to the next character.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if you use this, then you're going to be reading only one token. It's not reading the entire line. So what we want is to read the entire line.
While loop until a new line.
Okay, there's an easy way. There's an easier way. So let me show you. Let me show you the website. I've been using this website, CPP reference, whenever I need to look up for functions in C++. Okay, so I'm going to post the link of this website to Blackboard so you can take a look. And then there's one group under strings library, okay? Because you're gonna manipulate everything as a string, so probably this is a good starting point, okay? And I'm going to look at the basic string. So, and if I look at the basic string, and then maybe the quickest way is just to search for line, because I do want to read the entire line of my input at a time. So probably just search for line, or maybe Control F. And then let's see if there's one. Right? Apparently there's a function called getLine, and getLine will allow you to read data from an input stream into a string. Okay, and let's take a look at the detail how to use that function. So it's kind of cryptic, okay, but if this is hard to understand, just go down to the example. The example is easier to read here. So you can see several examples. The first one is here. So how do we use it? So getLine takes two arguments, right? The first argument will be the stream, the input stream. Okay, so this is using stdn, so cn. Okay, and then the second argument is the receiving string. Second example is here, right? So what is this? Again, if you look at the syntax, the first argument is the input, the source, and then the second argument is the destination where you want to keep the item that you read from the source, right? So get line, input, source, and then destination. Get line, input, source, destination. So that's how we use the get line function. Okay, let me go back here. So now instead of using double angle bracket, I do want to say get line. Okay, and what is my source of input? Okay, and my destination is
A line.
a line. Question? So now once we read the entire line, so we read the first line, what do we do?
Now you need to go through and find each character in the line to figure out the value.
Yeah. Just go to each character in that string and then come up with the cost, right? So tell me what to do here.
We're going to need a integer outside of the for loop to store the something.
The cost, yep.
So do we have that?
Nope, not yet. Okay, article cost start at 0.
Now you need another for loop.
Yep,
And you need to run it the length of characters in the string, so you have to figure out the length of the string.
okay,
For like I equals 0.
okay,
Equals 0. I less than a line dot size.
okay. It's not size but length.
Yeah.
Okay,
I plus plus.
okay, and then?
So then you use you read it like you read the characters above, like IMP.
So you would do that with A line, because INP is your full input.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And then what do you do with?
So the art
You
cost
put that-
is-
you put that in. Oh.
And then?
And then you say, so what's the vector that you sort of cost of care of car at I. But then you have to pass this in.
Yep. And what do you do with that number?
You add that to the art cost.
That's it. Question?
Could we have done that with a for each loop? So
Yes.
for char x. In
Yes, actually I prefer that instead of the for loop. Okay, so, but make sense? Question? So that's one way of writing the code. Okay, let me show you a different way. Let me comment this out. Okay, the lazy way of writing the loop is to do something like this. For each character ch in a line, I just want to say art cost, article cost, plus cost of character int ch. Okay, shorter, I don't have to worry about length, I don't have to worry about.
So what happens if there's no index at the character in cost of care?
The way we set it up, the array is big enough, 128, right? That's like the entire ASCII code
Yeah.
for the input.
So if there's no value there, it's just 0.
0, yeah. So when you declare the array with 128, automatically C++ will initialize all elements to 0.
Okay.
So you don't have to set like a new value in there. Okay? Question? There's a bug.
I haven't returned it.
We don't return it. We don't have to return it, but we can print it here. But that's not the bug that I'm looking for. We have the similar problem with white space characters again. Can you see where?
Because it's gonna read the spaces too. As a character.
Yeah, the bug is between line 19, between line 19 and line 25. You see that? So remember, if I zoom that, the two characters, what do you see there? You see like 7 new line, and then ACM blah blah blah, right?
So it will read that new line after
Yeah.
the 7 as the first line, and you won't read the last line.
Correct. So I'm talking about the new line after 7 before letter A. Okay? So line 19 will take you this far, and then line 25 will read that as an empty line, empty first line. Okay? So how do we solve that problem?
Space.
Where do I want to put white space?
Probably before you enter the for loop. somewhere.
Before I enter the for loop. Exactly. Before I enter the for loop, I do want to skip that white space, which is on which line in my code?
So say in between lines 20 and 21, you could do input, arrow, arrow, white space.
With my cursors. Like here?
Between 20 and 21.
Maybe before the for loop.
Okay, just put it together. Okay? So let me put a comment before the article, before the beginning of article. Question?
Will we run into a white space problem in any of the other, like in the for loop then, or no?
No, because after you skip the first white space, get line will read the entire line,
Including.
and it will consume. The first get line will consume the last new line character. So then the next call to get line will start with at line 12, consume the new line character. Yeah, keep going.
So
So we're gonna read the entire.
It's only getting left the white space in line 10 because we're looking for specifically an integer instead of the full line.
Which line 10?
And the,
Here?
there.
Yep.
That's the one that's problematic because we're just looking for the integer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because without that white space, you're gonna read new lines, and then the input will be scanned all the way to here without scanning the new line. And then when you start get line in here, it will consume that as the first empty line. So we want to skip that. So the effect of that WS is to skip that empty line and then start the file pointer there. Yes.
So what you're saying is otherwise if we didn't check that, it wouldn't read the from Wikipedia, basically the last.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, should we run it?
Sure.
Okay. Let me go back to normal view, exit presentation mode.
Before we run that,
Yep.
do you want to put something into the second paragraph that will actually trigger? Because right now it's got a value of 0.
Second paragraph.
The one you
The second
created.
text thing, the new text will have a value of 0 because none of those characters get hit.
I didn't follow you.
The one that you made earlier.
Yeah.
The
In the
example.
text file, we've got paragraph 1, which is the one that starts with ACM. Then
Yeah.
The second paragraph starts with this is.
Yes.
That one has none of the characters we've marked as valuable. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
So it should give you 15, right? Okay, thank you. So let's see if my file is set up correctly. I need to change that to newspaper, and then reload, and then run. Oh, there's an error. So what is my error here? Vector cost of character. Did I misspell the name? Cost. Oh, I forgot to include. Include vector. Okay, recompile. Cout. I forgot to include IOStream. Include lowercase I, of course. IOStream. Missing an L. Yep. Recompile. Yep, the output is maybe put a new line in between. So the first output is 374, and then second output is 15. And then the rest is just a matter of formatting the output to look like $sign and so on and so forth, right? Okay? Question about this exercise of reading input and handling new line character, white space characters when you are skipping something from your input file.